Hello, good people. Greetings and blessings. It is Pulian Kosisile, the mind surgeon, and I'm so excited to be a part of your life through Mind Gym. I have prepared a workout session that I know is going to bless you. In fact, it may take your life to another level. It may elevate your understanding and shift your paradigm, preparing you for the next level of your life. As always, we want you to like, subscribe, and share so that we can begin to build this channel and assemble kingdom conscious people from around the world. It's designed to bless you. So let's dive in right now. The other day, my young son came into my room and asked, "Hey, Mom, can you tell me how to spell this word?" I don't recall the exact word now, but it wasn't anything complex. It was just a common term we use in everyday conversation. So I said, "Sure," and proceeded to spell it out for him. As I pronounced each letter and as he repeated the letters after me, I started to feel that the spelling might be incorrect. Nevertheless, we finished spelling the word. He left happy, feeling confident that he had learned something new and mastered the spelling. After he left my room, I couldn't shake the nagging feeling that I might have spelt it incorrectly. So I decided to check the spelling on my phone and discovered that indeed I had spelt it incorrectly. I had been misled by my own mind and unknowingly passed on this mistake to my son. If he were to take a spelling test at school, he would get it wrong, unaware that he had been given incorrect information. It's one thing to know that you don't know, to be aware that you don't know, because then you have the opportunity to learn and improve if you choose to. But when you mistakenly believe you know something that you don't, it's more concerning because you won't seek out the correct knowledge, and as a result, you won't grow. And this is the key point I always stress to my clients. If you're a decision maker in an organization and you consider engaging mindset change services, but want to first check if your team might prefer a mindset change session over their usual outing, for example, due to budget constraints, what do you think they'll choose? They'll likely opt for entertainment over empowerment, for tradition over transformation. This is because you're dealing with individuals who either are content with the status quo or are unaware, ignorant of their ignorance. And those are often the biggest barriers to growth and performance. As a leader, if you truly want to drive growth and achieve results, you can't just leave these decisions to chance. There are many times, or there may be sometimes, when you need to make tough choices for your team, even if they are unpopular. If something like a mindset change session is in the best interests of both the individuals and the company, then it's your responsibility to make that decision. To lead effectively, you must sometimes make decisions that challenge your team's preferences and comfort zones. Because if you're going to successfully lead people, then you have to free yourself from the people you lead. I'll leave it at that. So my mind had deceived me, and I ended up giving my son the wrong spelling, which he accepted as correct without any doubt. This situation highlights a powerful lesson. Why did he accept the spelling without question? If you were to ask him, "Hey champ, why do you believe that that's the correct spelling?" he would simply say, "Because mommy said so." And this response is loaded with layers of meaning and significance. It means that because mommy had given him the correct spellings before, he trusted that mommy would continue to provide the right spellings in the future. To him, mommy's love and reliability ensured she wouldn't lead him astray. So he accepted my word without question. He never doubted that I could be wrong because he had become very familiar with me. Wow, this is a powerful realization. And while we're on this topic, it's important to highlight the profound impact of our influence as parental guidance. The things we say to our children, especially in moments of frustration, can shape their lives in significant ways. So be mindful of the words you choose and the labels you use, as children internalize these messages and often live according to them. It's crucial to ensure that our words build up rather than diminish their sense of self. I felt it was important to mention this, even if it's a bit of a digression. It's a worthwhile one. So he believed me because I was familiar. And today I want us to examine the trap of familiarity. Let's take a moment to revisit the story from the Garden of Eden. As you likely know, Eve ate the forbidden fruit and gave some to her husband, leading to the fall of mankind. Many of you are probably very familiar with the story. In fact, you might be so accustomed to it that you've overlooked a crucial detail. How many of you know or realize that being too close to something can cause you to miss its significance? This is why relying solely on family and a few friends as your only clients can be a risky strategy for your business. They may be too close to see your true value. Much like how the people in the Bible were too familiar with Jesus to recognize who he was, only seeing him as the carpenter's son and not the Messiah. You too are likely well acquainted with the scripture, and because of that familiarity, we're going to revisit it to uncover what we might have overlooked. Let's return to the beginning, to Genesis chapters 2 and 3. For the sake of time, I'll summarize and paraphrase the key points, but I do encourage you to read the full passage for yourself for a deeper understanding. The story begins with God planting a garden and placing man in it, giving him clear instructions. You are free to eat from any tree in the garden, but that tree over there, don't eat from that one. That one is off limits. I imagine Adam, like many of us, was curious and asked God what would happen if he did eat of the tree. And God said, well, if you eat from it, you're gonna die. Adam probably replied, really? And God affirmed, for sure. What fascinates me every time I reflect on the story is what happened next. Eve, who was meant to be working in the garden, was instead in idle conversation with the serpent. It's similar to how we often waste time on social media when we should be focusing on work and productivity. So the serpent was like the social media of that time, deceptive and distracting. During this conversation, the serpent persuaded Eve to eat the forbidden fruit, leading to the fall. The first lesson here is very clear. Avoid engaging with snakes or sources of deception. They offer nothing but poison, nothing but harm. Eve's interaction with the serpent ultimately led to her eating the forbidden fruit. I'm struck by the mindset at play here. Eve had been in the garden all this time, surrounded by countless other options, and had no problem avoiding the forbidden fruit. But once the idea was suggested to her that she was missing out on something, she developed a scarcity mindset. Suddenly, the fruit she had previously ignored became enticing, and she felt a strong desire to have it. This is the power of suggestion at work. And here's a little insight. The same principle of suggestion is what can make you catch a cold in winter. I'll leave that thought for another time. But it's fascinating, isn't it? How suggestions can shift our focus from the abundance we already have to the one thing we lack. Eden wasn't just any backyard garden. It was a lush paradise with every kind of tree imaginable. And for Eve to reach the forbidden fruit, I imagine she had to bypass and ignore and disregard all the wealth and variety that surrounded her. This mirrors how many people today focus on the single thing they don't have, overlooking the abundance they already possess, leading to frustration, to stress, and dissatisfaction. Isn't this a reflection of many of our own lives? We have so much to be grateful for: our health, family, good friends, a job, and even opportunities like free education. Yet we often fall into the pattern of focusing solely on what we lack. We find ourselves stressed, depressed, feeling like victims, and overindulging. We become like Eve, fixating on the small things we don't have while ignoring the abundance that surrounds us. It's as if the world, like a serpent, convinces us that we're missing out, leading us to believe in a scarcity that isn't really there. It's a deception. The truth is, God has already equipped us with everything we need to live our best lives. It has been worked in. All you have to do is work it out. It's all there. We just need to cultivate it. That means spending more time nurturing your own potential rather than listening to the doubts and the limitations that creep into your mind. In the story of my son and me, I didn't intentionally give him the wrong spelling. I simply didn't realize I was mistaken. He didn't know I was wrong, and I didn't know I was wrong either. So it was a classic case of the blind leading the blind, and we know where that usually leads. But that's not what is happening in the Garden of Eden. Here, the enemy's goal was to deceive. And the nature of deception is that you don't realize you're being deceived. That's what makes it so insidious. For example, if a stranger approached you and said, "I may look smart and trustworthy, but I'm actually a con artist. If you give me $100,000, I'll promise you a piece of land and then I'll disappear with your money." You wouldn't give him the money because he has explicitly told you he's a con artist. So the enemy doesn't announce, "I'm a deceiver, here to steal, kill, and destroy, and you can't trust anything I say." No. Instead, the enemy twists the truth, making you believe that the truth is a lie and the lie is the truth. This way you act on falsehoods. That is the essence of deception. Remember, at Mind Gym, our goal is to identify and address limiting mindsets that hinder progress and performance. We aim to challenge and overcome these barriers, then cultivate new mindsets aligned with our goals and missions and visions. So listen closely, whether for your personal growth or for developing your team in an organization. Here's a crucial point. Eve acted based on her beliefs, not her knowledge. Although she knew she would die if she ate the fruit, because that's what she told the serpent, but she believed she wouldn't die. She knew she would die, but she believed she wouldn't. This discrepancy between knowledge and belief led her to eat the fruit. If you take away just one insight from our session, from our workout today, let it be this: beliefs often override knowledge, and understanding this can be the key to personal and team development. Although she knew she would die, she believed she wouldn't die, and she acted based on what she believed, because we all act based on what we believe, not on what we know or say. Let me put it another way. You have to get this. What you say you believe may be different from what your actions show you believe. And so what you really believe is what your actions show you believe, not what you say you believe. Here's another way, and I hope you're getting it. If you are behaving as if something is true, then it's true for you, even if you are consciously saying that it's not true. For instance, if you claim, "I believe I was born to be wealthy," but your actions, such as poor money management, contradict this belief, it reveals a deeper truth. You actually believe you weren't meant to be rich. Even if you argue that you will become wealthy, your behavior suggests otherwise. You are acting as if you believe you won't be rich, even if you say otherwise. I can't emphasize this enough. Just revisit this point until it really sinks in. That's why you can't just get excited about individual or team goals without addressing the underlying group mindset. You can't simply rely on people's stated intentions and one-on-one conversations. assuming these will naturally translate into results. What people say they believe isn't enough. Their actions need to reflect their beliefs. If their behavior doesn't match their stated beliefs, they don't truly believe it, and you won't see the promised results. Mindset change is crucial because it raises awareness of this disconnect. It disrupts old patterns of thinking and provides the knowledge and understanding needed to align conscious beliefs with unconscious ones. When there is alignment instead of conflict, you can move from your current reality to achieving your desired outcomes and results. Let's move forward. I've highlighted how this concept can be transformative. There's one more key point I want to discuss, and it's in connection to changing your mindset. So, this is another thing I want you to see. Eve wasn't the only one who ate the forbidden fruit that day. We read that after Eve had eaten it, she gave it to Adam, and he ate it also. Now, what's intriguing is that Adam wasn't deceived. We're told that Adam wasn't deceived, but he still ate the fruit. The story tells us that Eve was deceived, but Adam was not. Yet Adam still ate the fruit. Here's the intriguing part. Eve knew she would die, but believed she wouldn't, which led her to eat the fruit. In contrast, Adam knew he would die and believed he would die, yet he still ate the fruit. Why? This is why. And I'm giving you this interpretation as it relates to mindset, right? Because I know there could be many other interpretations out there, but this is as it relates to mindset. This is why he ate it. It's because his wife gave it to him. Someone he loved, someone he trusted and relied on, who had often probably provided him with good fruit before. It became a comforting habit for him to accept and eat the fruit she offered. It was a habit and a comfort zone. But here's a crucial insight. Our minds often cling to the familiar, even if it means choosing a worse option over a better future. Ooh, this is so good. I'm going to say it again. Our minds often cling to the familiar, even if it means choosing a worse option over a better future. This tendency explains why he might knowingly consume bad fruit rather than seek something better. And it explains why you keep going back to the same behavior, the same places, to the same people that you know are doing you no good. It's because it's familiar. It's because it's a habit and it's comfortable. But here's something you may want to really tattoo on the inside of your eyelids. Good people can sometimes give you bad fruit. But because they are familiar, their influence can keep you stuck in past patterns, obstruct your growth, resist your efforts to change. So cultivate a mindset that evaluates the quality of what you are given, whether from familiar faces or new ones, by judging the value of the fruit, not just its source. Because a mindset left unchecked can lead to profound consequences, as illustrated by the story of humanity's fall. I mean, imagine if such a mindset can trigger global upheaval. Imagine how it might undermine your personal and professional life. That's why it's essential to recognize and challenge and overcome limiting thought patterns. By addressing these barriers in our minds, we can shift our mindset and unlock the potential to live our very best lives. Thank you for joining us for today's workout. Until next time, remember to treat your mindset like your life depends on it, because it does. Bye for now.